and welcome to the Grass Valley booth at NAB 2018. We're talking with Chuck Garfield, Director of Product Management for News. Chuck, what does Director of Product Management for News mean? What do you do?
I heard cats, so yeah, maybe not cats entirely, but I oversee product managers and business dev managers for the whole product portfolio. So for Stratus, Edius Ignite, our robotic system, RSLDX, all of the solutions that we sell into the news value stream. Most of those product managers and product owners, they report to me. So I help keep us all working efficiently and communicating with sales and customers
So you do herd cats.
on many levels.
So you mentioned Ignite. Let's talk about Ignite for a moment. Ignite appears to be gaining strong market recognition in newsrooms across the world. To what do you attribute this growth?
Really, it's been an investment. So I would say 2 years ago, we took a hard and long look at our resources and what we needed to be successful. And so in that process, we doubled our R&D. We doubled our service people, so the ability of people that go out and support it. And we've doubled our QA. So in that process now you'll see, and I think if you look at all of the versions of Ignite that we've had, 10, 10.2, or 10.1, 10.2, version 11, all of those have significantly more features than we probably ever had in 10 years, right? And so this has created a more feature-rich product. It's been a product that has specific problems that our customers have asked us to solve, and it's more stable because, again, we have more engineers, we have more QA, we have more testing. It all sort of feeds itself. And so we have originally had a dev team we obviously have the dev team of Ignite in Kuala Lumpur. We've had a switcher team in Grass Valley, California, and now we have another Ignite team in Montreal. So we've added the Montreal team as the new center of excellence for Ignite.
So people tend to equate Ignite with news. But give me an idea of an atypical application where Ignite could be used.
Sure, I think that has been the misconception, right? And we sell into news because that's where we started. You know, Grass Valley purchased Parker Vision, and we were selling automation into news primarily. However, because of our ability to handle unscripted news and breaking news, you know, we have a lot of customers who either are doing different talk shows, they're doing interview segments, they're doing, you know, breaking news, for example, severe weather. You know, hurricanes come in, and it's a week-long, uninterrupted, non-stop, wall-to-wall, unscripted production. And so that's led us to be successful at other sports networks where they kind of do the same thing. It's loosely coupled. There's a whole bunch of different packages and VOs that we could cover, and we'll go to them with the Catalyst automation panel or the new ASP tablets. We'll go to that when we want and when we need. And we don't need a newsroom computer system, so we don't have to be scripted. And so I think because of the momentum, because we've revamped our UI and have made a lot of changes, you know, all different kinds of workflows now are looking at us.
So whether scripted or unscripted or both, you know, there is breaking news that happens during a scripted program.
Yep.
What are the biggest challenges that you see customers facing when considering automated production control?
Yeah, absolutely. I think across the board it's complexity. So look, we've done a lot of work, first and foremost, on making our Ignite application easily handling change, right? So we have persistent templates, and we can go in and we can say, hey, that's not camera 1, it's camera 2, and it's not remote 5, it's remote 10, and boom, it's ready. We didn't have to go to the newsroom computer system. And so that was a big hurdle that we finally overcame in version 10. Now with version 11, that's just about to release, complexity. And the first phase of addressing complexity is Event Builder. So the problem with any APC, automated production system, whether it's Ross, whether it's Sony, whether it's Viz, is it takes weeks to set these systems up. You got to build the events, you got to build your switcher events out, and it's a week to build it, it's a week to test it, and And by the way, if you then, a year later, go back and try to edit these events or manipulate them, they're complicated, and sometimes operators don't remember how to do it. So Event Builder is an application that allows a non-technical person to go in, take a default library that we already created, easily edit it, go into drop-down menus, go into a very intuitive UI, make the changes, hit save. So where we were spending a week creating the library will be ready after a day, maybe two, right? Or down market, in smaller markets where they maybe, maybe our default sports library or our default news library or our default house of worship library might look just fine. So we can come and just do a day of operational training.
So with version 11 that you're about to release, how do you see the features that are coming out with 11 helping to drive new business application for its users?
Sure, so I think version 11, again, we've been selling into news. I'm excited to start selling more into House of Worship. I'm excited to take us to probably work at having more sports venue applications, smaller venues, corporate education. Again, there is the complexity on many levels. We talked about complexity of building the events up front, but there's another level of complexity that a lot of vendors don't talk about, and that's the long-term maintenance of it. A year goes by, I've got to change my library, or a year goes by, we're doing sweeps, or we've changed our set, and now I've got to change all of my events. In a lot of cases, you're going to call out the vendor again to help you. And with version 11, you're not going to have to do that. You can do it yourself because it's easy, because it's intuitive, and because it was designed not for a TD to use it, but any non-technical person. And so I think it's going to open up, many new verticals for us.
So during Ignite's history, it's been promoted as, a one person can run a show operation. It's been promoted as a way to get stories on air faster than your competition.
Yep.
With stations becoming, with Ignite, number one or number two in their markets very, very quickly. We've promoted it as a way to have a more error-free production.
Yep.
So all those things are still valid today, but what's today's Ignite message?
Today's Ignite message is literally, no boundaries. If you want to be scripted, you can be scripted. If you want to be unscripted and do a automated production where maybe I'm just taking cameras and I've got router control on Ignite, and so I'm changing some sources that way, you can automate as much or as little as you need to, and you can have faith and confidence in knowing that the system is going to be maintainable by you. So yes, Grass Valley will come out, and our professional service team is incredible, and we're going to train you better than anybody, but then long term, you're going to be able to own your system. And even if you lose a body or two, should that ever happen, you know that the tools that Ignite is giving you is easy enough for anybody to sit down and use. And maybe you just watch a 15-minute tutorial video online, and then you're editing your library again, and you're building out new control rooms. There's really big pressure right now. Hey, the primary control rooms have big ad dollars and big revenue, and so therefore we can spend a lot of money on our equipment in our primary control rooms. But our secondary control rooms for web and mobile don't have the ad dollars yet. And so a lot of times these second and third control rooms have budgets that are way smaller, which means it might be a Kula switcher, which by the way Ignite is controlling here at NAB, a much lower cost server, a much lower cost switcher, and so you can have faith to know that the same tools you use for your big production and that same library can be quickly and instantly modified to a smaller control room for web and mobile. And if you want Grass Valley to come out, which you may, we'll do some training on things that really matter, like live operation or how to do breaking news better. But we won't waste your time training you how to maintain our system. And I think that's the big thing, is getting more value from our professional services.
So with all that Ignite can do, with all that version 11 now will allow you to do, if there's one thing you want people to remember about Ignite and automated production control, what would that one thing be? For people who aren't using it now, what's that one thing you want them to remember?
I think across the board for Ignite and even for other products like Stratus, in news, we're focused on reducing complexity. We're focused on making a system that doesn't encumber the user with how do I use it. You know, it's just easier to use, it's easier to maintain, and we're focused on reducing complexity. Whether in Ignite, that's a system that the event library is easy, or in Device Manager that releases later this year where we can change devices really easily, or even in Stratus when you talk about publishing content to social media, Stratus's goal as well is to help reduce complexity. One UI can allow you to publish content to social media, delete it, track the trends of a particular story, again, as opposed to 15 windows on desktops that we see. And I think that's the big one, as my team of product managers and myself travel and we sit down with our customers, these workflows to publish content to web and mobile and elsewhere are really disjointed. They're complicated. There's 15 to 30 windows open on desktops, and it's just really it's problematic. And so what Grass Valley and the news team is focused on, and have been for some time now, is reducing complexity, so making it easier.
Thanks, Chuck. And thanks for joining us here at the Grass Valley booth at NAB 2018.